Absolutely. And we'll start off with a story about parking. Now, Rio Ferdinand, who apparently is a footballist of some kind.
All right.
Who's he play for? Manchester United. Ah, that's how he's able to afford an Aston Martin Vanquish.
As I drove onto the glacier, I stopped to hook up with a volcanologist who couldn't get to the volcano because of the weather.
Soon we pulled over to examine our cars more closely.
I want to see what it is that's making no noise, that's humming like a Trappist monk.
No, I'm a vegetable.
He's a vegetable.
You're a vegetable.
I wouldn't eat it for you. I'd free it.
The original car, the GT40, that was a true great, a real working-class hero that whooped the toffs' asses at Le Mans. More important than the first Labour Party victory, really. But this later tribute band version, this is not a great. This is a chintzy, fatuous trinket for sad fantasists. Jeremy had one.
Can I just say,
What?
you look like a gay cowboy and you look like a gay terrorist.
No, you look like a terrorist with a broken windscreen wiper and your face is ridiculous. So the next island along is where Mr. Willman has built his community for American car enthusiasts.
I'm excited by this idea of a place where we can go in our American cars and not be embarrassed. It is like nudists. They want to run around with no clothes on, but you can't do that where everybody else is wearing clothes. You'd feel silly. So they go amongst like-minded people where everyone's doing the same.
The impact that I had there was pretty severe. My ankle burst where the clutch pedal went through it. My head was dislodged from my spine. And really we've ended up with a Top Gear top tip. If you are a lorryist and you are going to have an accident, there's a choice of something to hit. Avoid anything with bricks in it.
Yeah, always swerve and go for the big pile of mineral water.
Yes, that's a safer bet.
Anyway, look.
Now, yes, you may have noticed this week that some Greenpeace activists broke into the Land Rover factory, chained themselves to the production line claiming that Range Rovers, I don't know what they claim they do, but they do something wrong anyway.
Slab of beeswax, which could be used as furniture polish, floor polish. Percussionists use it to make tambourines make a better sound. It's used in accordions.
Now, by day, Ken is a rally driver. But what's special about him is the way he sharpens his skills. You see, most rallyists prefer to practice in the forests of Wales or Finland, but Ken prefers to use airports.
I think the very concept of incongruity was defined in that film in Detroit by James May, the slowest moving man in history, driving around in a car called The Exorcist.
Yeah, it just doesn't work, does it? James May is The Exorcist.
No, I mean, if he's going to have a car, it should be called The Florist.
Yeah. Or The Organist.
Simple change to that. The Onanist.
Nice.
I think The Onanist would work well.
Have you quite finished?
Yeah.
Except it's called The Gloria.
Gloria.
That is Gloria. You're looking at
Gloria
Gloria.
is not the name of an Italian car. Gloria is the name of a receptionist.
Yeah.
Right, we've got to move on now and meet our guest this evening. He is a big star on Buzzcocks. He's a regular panellist on QI. Used to be a communist and a punk. He is now Bill Bailey. But there is one group of motorists that we always ignore. Caravanists.
Yes, and because there are 500,000 caravans in Britain, in fact, we buy more caravans than any other European nation.
Of course, there were a few problems with it, chief among which was a lack of space inside.
A gynecologist would get in here and go, God, I'm at work!
Yeah. It's like climbing into a somebody else's giant red posing pouch.
James Mays. Because if you went to a prison, forget the sort of stabbists and the scoundrels, the ones who are in there for a bit of tax dodging.
Yeah.
I bet 80% have got jags. You know what I mean, eh? So you were born then, that makes you an Americanista.
Well, both. My mum's English, my dad's American, so I have 2 passports.
It's out of my way, Frenchists!
You have to have had a full driving licence over a year. Oh, and you have to be between 5'2" and 6'7", so that's you two out. Excellent.
That's heightest, that, frankly.
I can't think of a better recommendation, actually.
I will move my Jeep out of your way. If you can answer this simple prog rock question.
I don't know anything about prog rock at all.
Who was the bass guitarist in Barclay James Harvest?
The Nolan sisters, get me off this bridge!
In M mode, it's even more of a tyre-smoking mentalist.
Honestly, I haven't driven anything this sort of perfect since, I don't know, since the original Golf GTI, in fact.
Because I can prove that the way to keep traffic moving through the roadworks, which is where those average speed cameras are,
Yeah.
is for everybody to go faster from the start.
Yeah.
It's all down to the work of the Swiss physicist Daniel Bernoulli. You're familiar with him?
Oh, him.
Thought so.
He isn't.
No, he is.
He's never heard of him. This is officially the slowest accelerating car money can buy. 0 to 60 in 20 seconds.
That is very slow.
It's true fact, but it's £8,500
It's
for
fabulous.
that. And really good, it's four-wheel drive, which really annoys
What did you say it was, a
environmentalists.
donkey?
It's a donkey, it's a little mule, and it really does annoy the eco-mentalists. Weird beards will go, four-wheel drive, but then, oh yeah, so on that basis, it is a cool car.
Yeah,
Very
it is
cool
a very
car.
cool car.
The funny thing is, though, that Ferrari purists would scoff at the FF. They would say it's too big and too heavy and too complicated. They would say that a real Ferrari should be a bit more like this. This is an £80,000 BAC mono, designed and built in Cheshire.
Some say he once threw a microwave oven at a tramp. And that long before anyone else, he realised that Jade Goody was a racist, pig-faced waste of blood and organs. All we know is he's called the stick. I don't mind if cyclists want to come on the road with their silly Victorian distractions. I'm not bothered, OK? They're fine, but they must behave themselves.
There are a few militant cyclists, I'll agree.
And you're one of them.
No, they give us
You
all
on a
about it.
bicycle-
I'm not a militant, I cycle
You are on a
perfectly
bicycle,
politely.
you are a peach. Now, my guest tonight, he's a comedian who spends his weekends with other men dressed in leather. He's part of a minority group called motorcyclists. Ladies and gentlemen, Ross Noble!
Right, our quest continues to find the greatest driving song in the world ever. Here are our 5 finalists, as nominated by you, and as you can see, they still include that massive albatross poo on the windscreen of popular music, Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell.
The Audi, then. Not a good hairstylist.
Unfortunately, however, because the stylists were allowed to do what they wanted, the engineers then stuck out their bottom lips and said they wanted a free hand too.
The trouble is that unlike car stylists, who are flamboyant and usually drunk, car engineers tend to be very sensible. You can tell this just by looking at their trousers.
Annoyingly, the R is so loud that our team of sound recordists had to have a bit of a rethink.
What I was saying before I had this microphone fitted is it really is jolly fast. Very jolly fast.
A key worker, an engineer, and a conservationist. All in the company of diddly squats, endlessly happy, endlessly dysfunctional family.
There is no impression whatsoever of there being anything on the roof. That weighs less than me. And that's the point, lightness. I'm preserving motoring pleasure for the campervanist.
And so, as the crowd went home, we put the Top Gear pianist in charge of keyboards and got to work.
3, 2, 1.
Mazdas are good cars for shy exhibitionists. You could drive one butt naked through any major town in the world, and not an eye would be batted. They're practically invisible.
Until 1991, Albania was probably the most extreme Marxist state in the world.
One man who owned a cafe got 18 years in jail for telling a customer he didn't have a spoon. Another guy pointed at Corfu over there and said, "Why have they got a light in their harbour and we haven't?" He got 25 years.
Now, you would imagine that a car this loud and this brutal would be as luxurious as a Methodist's coal house. But no.
I don't know why the producers have made us come through Stoke rather than round it, but I'm mighty glad they did. We three can count ourselves amongst the 4 million tourists visiting Stoke every year.
And in the Porsche, you need to be a rocket scientist to understand anything.